Thank you for tuning in today. We're going to get into a couple different topics, and we're going to try to do it quickly. I'm going to make this a sub 20-minute podcast to boil down some of the strategies that have been going on both the MAHA movement and the trade disputes around the world. In particular, we're going to focus on China and the results of that trade war. So let's get right into it. I think that a lot of people have been, critical of the MAHA movement. What is RFK Jr. doing? What has been getting done? What's not getting done? I do think that there's some awesome stuff that is being overlooked. Number one being him eliminating food that is unhealthy from the food stamp program. Again, these are the welfare recipients, in many cases, some of the most unhealthy people in our country getting into some of the worst foods. So I do think that is a huge deal. I do think also the overall desire by RFK Jr. to prove some of his claims, which have been, brought into his books and other forms of lectures and podcasts that he has claimed about certain medicines, vaccines, foods, and ingredients, and things like that, environmental toxins. Just so you understand, RFK Jr.'s background is in suing large companies for environmental reasons. So he has a really good sense of companies utilizing toxins to produce a product, and or having toxins as a byproduct, and then pushing that to market with no repercussions. And so he has been extremely versatile in that segment of lawfare. And while some environmental regulations, I believe, are too much or they have their own motives behind them, like foreign adversaries coming in and advocating for certain environmental policies that are stunting growth in certain industries like the coal industry. So that's another side point. But I think that people don't really recognize that RFK Jr. has had a extensive background in suing large companies because he knows they are performing an environmental toxin. With that being said, his approach at the HHS has been a very balanced view. Some of the MAHA movement has found that to be like he's weak. He's weak on his positions. I don't think that's true. And I do think this applies in the aggregate to all of the other things that have been going on, which essentially is people not recognizing that you have a large segment of the population that do not believe there are any conspiracies or bad ingredients inside of vaccines or our food that there's anything to do with. Now, I believe it is so clear that the only reason that would be true is because the pharmaceutical companies and companies on Wall Street would want to hide the fact that the ingredients in the foods and vaccines and other medicines are actually terrible for you, right? So it's only in their best interest to keep that strategy of propaganda in control. So the way RFK is approaching it is to do a broad study, to invite real science and real scientific methods to the equation to find out the truth about everything. So when RFK Jr. has gone on these podcasts and made these claims about specific ingredients or medical procedures like vaccines and their defects on the population, he has done so using studies that are done, a little more small scale. As the head of HHS, he has access to over a $1 trillion budget, meaning he can take some of the greatest scientists, pull them from the private sector, public sector, from everywhere, and do real science and real studies with no other infiltration of bias to perform a result, to see the truth behind whatever he's actually studying. And one of the biggest epidemics in our time period has been autism. Now, people have claimed that autism is a result of a vaccine injury. We don't know that. And I do believe RFK Jr. himself has claimed this. But I think what is so important is to understand he has to get to that conclusion using real scientific methods. So he can prove to the medical and scientific community that this is in fact the case. So I'm seeing a little glitch on my end, guys. I'm going to have to probably cut this one short only because I feel like on the video format, it's like slow and laggy. So let me clean this up. For those watching live, I'm probably going to do a post edit and a recording. So thank you guys for tuning into this.